Hey lovelies, welcome back to my channel. I am NGWBASIL in case you don't already know, and if this is your first time on my channel, thank you so much for clicking on this video. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. All right, so lovelies, in this video we're going to be making this wig from scratch. All right, we're going to be making it from our normal expression attachments or from any extension. Any braiding hair can make this. All right, so I'm going to be making this for you. I actually made it coily and also made it straight, so I mean I settled everything. All right, so I made it coily, I made it straight, so anyone that works for you technically. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, then make sure to keep on watching. Love you. Mwah. So first things first, I'm going to be stating what we're going to be needing for this tutorial. I'm going to be using this expression attachment in color 30, and I'm also going to be mixing that in color 1 and color 27, just to give that a lighted feel and dark feel, if that makes any sense. Then I'm also going to be using this lace yard. It has no specification, it's just a lace yard, so it's not like 4 by 6, it's just the yard itself. So I'm going to cut it out to what I want eventually. So I'm also going to be using this dawn mesh cap. I'm using this. People ask me if you can use a dawn cap for your tutorial, but I prefer this because it has holes, so the ventilating needle can easily go through. That's a crochet pin, can easily go through and work with it. So I'm going to be putting that into my mannequin head, which you're also going to be needing. You're going to be needing your mannequin head. So I turned that backwards because the first thing I do is measure out where I'm going to place that lace yard I showed you before earlier on. So I'm just going to go ahead to mark that in. So I made a mistake marking this right now, so I'm going to correct it in the next slide. But the mistake I made, I was going to do a 5 by 4, so I marked that wrong. Like where I placed the needle wasn't the needle. If you see what I saw, like it was supposed to be on a 2.5 instead of a 3, because it's 5. The half of 5 is 2.5. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark that out just to get the feel of where I want to place my lace net. So just to give me a very detailed outline. So I'm just going to go ahead and ping that thing off camera. So another thing I wanted to show is how important how you place your net is. So you can see I place my net on a straight line. That helps with when you're ventilating, and it also helps when you're trying to create a part, because when it's straight you can actually just create a part that is straight. All right, so I don't know if that makes any sense, but how you place it is very important. So I'm just going to cut the rest of the piece off and then begin sewing it down. If there's any question you have about what I'm saying, you can ask me down below and I would explain on it more. All right, so I'm just going to sew that tightly and neatly, please. So I sew one side and then go in and sew in the other side, then I tie both threads together just to give it that very tight and guaranteed stitch. All right, then I'm just going to cut off any excess I have left as usual. So now I'm just going to go in and mark or prep where I'm going to place my ventilating, because this is not like the wig nets, right? So I have to mark it just to give me a guideline. It doesn't have to be so thorough that you follow it, but it just gives a guideline of how covered up it's going to be. All right, so what I did a 1-inch spacing for the bottom. Then when I got to the top, I started doing a 1/2-inch spacing, just because the bottom doesn't really need like much coverage, because the coverage comes from the top, right? So I made the top like 1/2 inch, then the bottom 1 inch. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and draw that pattern down. I never draw it straight on camera for some reason, I don't know, but it's just a guideline. It doesn't mean it has to follow through all through. All right, so prepping the attachment now, I really actually wished I just prepped it to the length I wanted instead of just cutting it into 2. I prefer it when you cut your length because it kind of looks stretched when you're ventilating it. They are not cutting the actual length you have and cutting it after you've ventilated, or after you've crocheted rather, because it gives that very blunt look when you cut it after you've crocheted than when you cut it before crocheting, if that makes any sense. So I really actually wish I just went in to cut the length, because I know I wanted a short length, right? So I could have just gone in to cut maybe 12 or 13, because that's the length I wanted. I just wanted on a shoulder length. So I actually wish I did that instead of cutting it afterwards, because I just cut it to be 18 inches, but what I really wanted was a 12-inch weave. So yeah, that's what I wished I did. But anything that works for you works for you. I just really don't like when a wig is like really blunt at the tip. So lovers, I'm just going to go ahead to start crocheting as I would normally do. Alright, so I go in with my black first of all. I actually started putting color 27 like later on, because I just felt the 30 and the black weren't doing it for me as much. So I just wanted to mix in a lighter color, and I just checked my whole batch of attachments and I found 27. So I just, you know, put that in. So I'm just going in crocheting as normal. You can actually see why I prefer this wig nets compared to like your normal spandex cap, because this one is just very easy for the crochet pin to actually penetrate in. So if you're looking for another one to use, I think this is the one for you to use. If you can't find the wig cap with the holes, this is the absolute one for you to use next. So you can see for the top part, it's actually much closer in, like I said, because this is like half inches. So I'm going in a bit more bigger with the strands here, because it's the top and I want it to be more fuller and actually be able to cover the nets better, because you have to put that in consideration. Your upper part should be able to cover your net, so it should kind of be a bit bigger than the bottom, right? It should be a lot more bigger, a lot more able to cover the coverage space. So I'm just going to go ahead to like attach that net, the wig lace, to the wig cap. Like, this is actually not a necessity because I've already gone in to sew it, but I just like doing it. You can make it a lot more thinner if you want. So this is what it's looking like. I know you're seeing that black strand, but you're not going to see it after I've ventilated upon it or on top of it. So I'm just going to go ahead to put my white paper. This white paper actually helped me see it better. It helps me being able to ventilate much faster. Like, that's what I've noticed. It just helps you see the line better, so you ventilate faster thereby. It like the creases doesn't really matter that it's there, to be honest, because the creases kind of lift the net up from the mannequin or from the canvas head, so you're able to like penetrate your ventilating pin more because it's lifted in a way, if that makes any sense. So I'm just going to go ahead to start ventilating. I normally take 2 to 3 strands while ventilating my pieces, actually 2 to 3 strands, because you don't want that knot to be too big. All right, so but if I'm at the sides of the hair where those knots are, where the big knots are, I actually going with like 6 strands, because it's the side, nobody's going to really see it and you just need it really for coverage. So that's all I do when ventilating. Then I create my parts. For ventilating, I feel it has more to do with your hand movement, how you're able to tie your knots quite tightly. This is a crochet pin, not actually a ventilating needle, but I prefer it and it actually does the job well for me. It's just how you work with your hand. So you can see for this side, I'm actually taking like 5 strands of hair. You can see I'm trying to pick a much larger hair than I would normally pick, just because that's the side. Nobody's going to see it and you need it for coverage. All right, so this is what one side is looking like. This hair is so beautiful. I really wish I didn't put it in hot water, to be honest with you. I really just like the color before putting it in hot water. It looked as if because I put it in hot water, the color actually changed. But yeah, so I'm just explaining what I'm doing on the screen, because explaining it now it won't make sense if I try explaining it. So I just put that on the screen for you to see, and this is how it's looking like once we're done ventilating. I mean, this hair is so beautiful, guys. I really liked how it looked before I started going in, like before I started cutting it and putting it in hot water. I wish I didn't. I wish I just, for me personally, if you're doing a colored attachment or a color expression, I'll prefer you don't put it in hot water afterwards. Like, it looks nice like this. I'm very pretty much sure if I had blow dried it like with heat and just combed it through, it would have just done the job I wanted, because I really wanted the color. But if you don't mind the color change eventually, like, why not put it in hot water? So I was trying to use a razor blade to like cut the edges so it shouldn't be so blunt, and it just broke because synthetic hair is like really strong. It broke right off. Like, I had to use scissors to cut it. So that's why I preferred I would have actually just done it before I started ventilating with it. This is what the inside is looking like. It's actually absolutely neat if you ask me, apart from that needle thread and needle, or the thread showing, but the inside is absolutely neat. So I'm going to be using my baking soda, and for me, for this particular unit, I didn't really see how the baking soda helped, but I'm very sure because I actually went in and stretched this hair like 4 times, like, because like I overstretched it, because I actually went ahead to curl it before because I wanted a curly wig, but I messed up the curls, guys. I went in and I overdid it, because I went in with much smaller rollers and I just made it a lot of bending rollers, a lot of flexi rollers, and it's not meant to be because of the pattern I wanted. I wanted like the big curls, because the tinier your curls are, the shorter your wig is gonna be. So it just didn't come out right for me, to be honest with you. So take that into account when you're going to curl your wig. If you're going to do that, like, make it the bigger rollers. I'm going to put a picture up for you to see. Make it the bigger rollers. I just feel it would be like, for this length, that bigger rollers would have just been very perfect. And you can see the highlight going on, the color 27 highlights going on. It's really pretty. So I'm just going to go ahead to straighten and curl the rest of the hair. I didn't really put the curling videos because it just didn't end up well for me. You can see how much the flexi rollers are. I later regretted it. I'm going to show you guys. I show everything, so I'm going to show you guys how it was for me. It just wasn't pretty, to be honest with you, so I just went back in to straighten it. It wasn't pretty at all. So lovelies, we're done with the wig right now and we're going to test it out. All right, so this is what it's looking like. I already gone ahead to put my foundation on the lace. All right, so I'm just going to put it on for you guys. Obviously it's not going to fit me well until I remove the curls, the rollers, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So lovelies, I'm just going to go ahead and cut the lace before I try attempting to style it or whatever. It's just really short. It's shorter than I wanted, and it's shorter than the style that would normally fit me, but we're going to see how to make it work. So I'm just going to go ahead to cut this lace off. So honest to God, I do not like it. I don't like it. It's too short for the frame of my face. Like, I think the front is like longer than the back. I wanted everything to be like dropped here and everything. It's not bad. It's actually not bad. So I love this color so much, but I don't know, it's not it at all. So because of that, I'm going to go ahead to straighten it and then show you guys how it looks straightened, because I am feeling it but I'm not feeling it. It's giving a vibe. So lovelies, this is the hair after straightening it. I mean I actually like it better now than before. Before it was just too short for me. I wasn't just vibing with it. All right, I think because the rollers I used were a bit too tiny, so it was just everywhere, and I used too much. Now that I think about it, I used too much rollers, and that's too much bending rollers, right? And then I used too tiny, so because it was tiny, it became shorter, if you get what I mean. So yeah, this is how the wig came out I'm impressed, and I actually love this color a lot. But the thing I noticed, it still has that shine. I don't know, the shine is not like boom boom boom, but the shine is there. I don't know, let me know what you think in the comment section. But the thing is, if you like the more kinkier vibe, I don't think there's any need for you to put this in hot water, to be honest. I kind of preferred it before it went into hot water. I don't know if I'm saying what, I don't know, but I mean, it's not bad. If you look at it, it's not. So let me know what you think about the wig entirely down below. Let me know everything you feel about this wig, or anything you think we should have done that we didn't do. And also, frequently asked question, how many attachments did I use? I just used that one, that single one you saw me use. That was all I used. That's the not super braids now, the medium size. That's all I used. And also with the mixing colors you saw me use, that's the black and the color 27. So that's all I actually used on this hair, and it's quite full if you ask me. I mean, it's quite full. It's full. Okay, so that's the frequently asked questions. So I would always try and make sure I tell you how many attachments I use, so it shouldn't be down below. So since I'm answering your question, you can comment something else down below, so it's not just empty, because I'm trying to answer as much question as I can. All right, so this is the wig. I try and always, you know, give the whole vibe of the wig while making it. Any error at all, because if I'm experiencing it, that means somebody else will definitely experience it. It's not long at all. Okay, I don't even have to stand up. So this is where it is. It's not long at all. It's just a normal wig. It's not long. It's just normal shoulder length. The back is kind of shorter than, you know, came to this side. So that's that. I mean, thank you so much for watching to the end of this video. And if you've gotten to the end of this video, you already know you're the what? You already know you're the real MVP. Thank you so much, and I will see you in my next week video. Bye, lovelies. Bye.